Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Tesla Talks podcast, episode 5. Thanks for joining us, folks. We have a special guest. Of course, we have the two regulars, the normal guys, and I'll get to them in a little bit, but I just want to introduce our special guest, Chris.
Hello.
From Dirty Tesla. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for inviting me.
No, buddy. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. We've
course.
wanting to have you on for a while now, and just, the way schedules and coordinations and everything turns out. Yep. And, we've just met, and I think you just met Paul, but you've known Franklin for a little bit, yep. And he's the one that hooked us up. And thank you very much, Franklin, for doing that.
No problem.
How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, a lot better. You're out of the woods from your death experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That near-death experience is finished, but on to new exciting death experiences.
Yeah, it makes you so much stronger in the long run. And last but not least, our normal guest that we always have, Paul from Tesla Canuck. How you doing, Paul?
Good. It's great to be here tonight. Thank you again for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks, guys. I know I say it every week, and sometimes if I don't say it, I forget to say it. Thanks very much for participating and helping me, because it'd be pretty. I don't know. It would be boring for me to talk to myself because
I agree with that.
What I plan to do, I was telling Chris this offline. What I plan to do is take this live eventually. Just got to find the right time slot and everything, and work out a little kinks here and there. But I eventually want to take this live, so anyone that's listening live that have any questions or comments or anything like that while we're having the podcast, because like I said from the very beginning, I want to get more interactive with comments and stuff like that. And questions, and we've got a handful of questions we're going to do at the end of the show tonight. But when we go live, I want everyone to be interactive and involved and stuff like that. So that's coming shortly. Stay tuned for that. But for now, we're just going to record it here, and we'll throw it up tomorrow. Are you guys all ready to get down to some Tesla stuff?
Let's talk Tesla.
Before I do, what I should say, speaking of questions and everything. If you do have any questions, leave it at any one of the social media platforms that you can find me on, including leave a comment below in this episode here. And if you're watching it on YouTube, and what I suggest, folks, is always try to watch it on YouTube if you can, because we try to be interactive and we put up websites and stuff like that, and we talk about pictures or videos we see. So you can certainly watch it or listen to it on the audio podcast, which you can do in your car on TuneIn Radio and. What's the other one I have? Apple CarPlay or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts is what I'm trying to say. So you can listen to it there too, but you just don't get the whole gist of it. I mean, I know it's a lot more. The whole interaction. Yeah, you don't get to see what Paul's doing right now in front of the camera.
Just goofing off like normal.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to see. No, always want to see Paul.
I get it. It's more interactive. It's more convenient for everyone to listen in their cars and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if you can. It's much better. And anyways, what I'm trying to say is leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube right now. Leave a comment below if you got a question for next week, like a burning question that you want any of us to answer. We're not experts, like I said, on day one, but we'll do our best to answer it. And I've got a new email address. You can send your questions there anytime throughout the week, and we'll try to get it on the next episode, which is teslatalksquestions@gmail.com. I'll put those down in the description below, that link, and you can use that. Send all your questions there, or like I said, any of the other social media platforms. But anyways, without any further ado, now that we got all the housekeeping stuff in the background, actually, what I want to do before I even get to the news is we want to talk about our special guest tonight for a little bit, Chris.
All right, what's up?
What I wanted to do, anyone that was listening last week. Or the last episode, because we missed an episode last week, was we had Brian from I1 Tesla on, and he was very awesome, very great. But what I wanted to do, and I didn't get a chance to do with him, is I don't want to get too personal with people, but anything that they want to share that maybe their listeners or their viewers or their followers don't know about them, type of thing, or if you've just stumbled along our podcast for the first time and you've never heard about Chris or never met Chris before, we're not going to do our Paul or Franklin and I. We're just going to you're going to concentrate on a special guest. Yeah.
Well, so, that's cool because in YouTube you don't always have the chance to do that because people are like, get to the point. The title says you're doing this. I want to see it now, or else they leave. So I'm excited to answer some questions, and I can send some of my subs here.
Yeah, buddy, you nailed it right on the head. That's exactly it.
Chris, what we're looking for here is your social insurance number, credit card number.
No,
I brought it.
No, we want like juicy details. We want to know like controversy, like stuff that like your deepest, darkest secrets.
I'm not very controversial. So.
I'm kidding. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from Michigan. I live a little south of Flint, which is north of Detroit, about an hour and a half north of Detroit or so, northwest. And I live out in the woods. And so that was part of why I started my YouTube channel, because I live on dirt roads. I drive like 6 miles of dirt roads every day. And I was like, it's a new car, a new type of car that's being built. Are they okay on dirt roads? And like, it seems like a ridiculous question now. But I didn't know, and I couldn't really find much information about it. And so I wanted to kind of document the experience and make sure the car was going to survive it, because dirt roads are, they're pretty hard on cars. Yeah. So that's where I live, and that's why I started everything. But yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of starting stuff, when you say starting, you're talking about your YouTube channel or just social media
my YouTube
presence?
Channel.
Yeah. And how long have you had that for?
I started the channel, I think it was about May 2019.
Wow, really?
April or May 2019. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Buddy,
congratulations.
I was going to say, you're doing very well. These are 3 other guys that have been on YouTube for a little bit. And we all know how, and we've talked about this offline too, how hard it is to get a channel up and going. I actually have a personal friend of mine was asking me about my channel and was wondering, like, I told him how you got to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of views and stuff like that to get monetized. Yeah. And he's like, so when you do, like, he made it like, he assumed from how I said it, and I didn't make it sound that way, but he thought it was like so simple. He goes, so how much will you start pulling in once you get monetized? I'm like, whoa. Work on getting monetized first, because that's the hardest part.
It's a pain. Yeah. This is my 6th or 7th channel I've started, and it's the first one I've really gotten off the ground. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Other channels you care to talk about or nothing?
No, I don't really work on them anymore. But okay, you want something juicy?
I was kidding about the juicy.
No, this is good. This is good. A really quick tidbit from my past. So I was a partner back in 2012 or so. No, before that, 2009. Whenever they first opened the partner program, you didn't have to have any. They just gave it
2009, 2010, something like that.
Yeah. So it was 2009, and I was a partner. And I was so excited. I was just posting random whatever. So I told my friends, of course, I'm all excited. I was like, oh, check out my videos. You'd make like 2 cents a day or 2 cents a week or something. Well, I had one friend who went on my channel, and she was trying to help me out. And she was in class. We were in college at the time. And she's watching my videos and just clicking the ads constantly. That's all she's doing. Well, that's obviously fake. And so YouTube knew that was fake, and I got banned. My channel is still banned to this day. It's still banned to this day.
Wow.
Well, we see people doing a lot worse than that, and they don't get banned.
Yeah, they must have been really good last time.
I want to touch on your channel a little bit. Your videos are like top notch, and your growth is purely because of the quality of your videos. Your thumbnails are like some of the best thumbnails that I've like. I want to click your videos to see. Yeah, it is, and you do such a good job with everything you do, and
thank you.
You're like one of the most popular people on the subreddit of Tesla. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I don't go on there as much anymore because they have some type of disdain for YouTubers. I don't know why.
They do.
Oh, they do, buddy. They do.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad because I love Reddit, and that was really my first Tesla platform. I never did Twitter. I never did anything really. Yeah. It's all Reddit. That's where I learned most of everything I know, and that's where I helped people before my YouTube channel. So. But
no, it's just like you're doing a phenomenal job, right? So
thank you. Well, it's hard, and you just got to make sure anybody that's listening and wants to do a channel, just don't compare yourself to anyone else, because there's no reason. I mean, there's channels that do 100 times better than me. There's channels that do 100 times worse than me. It doesn't matter. You got to do your own thing and don't give up, and hopefully eventually it takes off. But
just stick through it and stick with it long enough, and as long as you have fun doing it, that's what's most important.
Right.
Don't get into it like I don't know your friend's situation, Dax, but it made it seem like he was very interested in the monetization portion.
It was. And I had to set him straight. Yeah.
Paul's laughing, but I'm
laughing.
You have to really enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, you got to do it for the right reasons, and that's what I finally explained to him. And we'll see if he does. It's photography. It has nothing to do with Tesla, even though he does have a Tesla. It's more photography related. So he's up against Peter McKinnon, not us.
So, Chris, real quick, I was gonna leave this for the end, but we're talking about it anyway. Okay. How many questions or comments do you receive on your YouTube videos that talk about how dirty your Tesla is? Because I get them all the time. Okay, I believe I have the dirtiest Tesla.
Okay, no.
The name is
first
taken.
of all, yeah, that's totally wrong. But second of all, I don't get as many, and that's part of why I named the channel the way I did, because I knew it was going to be dirty all the time. And I knew people just stick on it. They just, every time they see it, they're like, your car's so dirty. So I was like, you know what? They're just going to know. And some people don't even see the name, and they'll like comment about it. And then I don't usually respond in time, but someone else does. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's why the channel's named the way it is.
Because it's hard, right? Being in cold climates, as you know, to keep your car clean constantly. And in the winter, it's almost impossible. So I receive them all the time. They're like, your car's so dirty. I'm like, I cleaned it like 10 minutes ago. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Like,
well, you know, this winter I was thinking of actually changing my channel name to Dirty Tesla Canuck, but that just sounds like a dirty old man. So
Dirty Tesla Canuck. I'll be Dirty Tesla Mother Frunker. And then we have Dirty Tesla DaxM.
No, Dirty Tesla Talks.
Dirty Tesla Talks.
Oh.
That's even better.
All right, I think we have a winner. I mean, listen, there was that video floating around that Elon Musk acknowledged. That was a pretty dirty Tesla talk or video that we could talk about.
Was people reference that to me quite often at that time. Yeah.
Well, that's great, Franklin, that you brought that up, because I was going to ask Chris where he got the name from, but you just answered it. That's good.
Yeah. From living on dirt roads and getting that comment all the time. Because I don't know if you guys ever drive dirt roads, but especially in the winter, and that it's been such a warm winter, it's mud constantly. Mud. So it's just covered.
Cool. Yeah, no, we've all at one point driven on dirt roads, and that whole cringe factor when you first get on there kicks in, where it's like you hear all the rocks and stuff like that going up on the bottom, and I cringe and stuff like that. But then after a while, you get used to it. So speaking of your car, what kind of Model 3 do you have?
I have the all-wheel drive non-performance, so the dual motor. And I actually picked it up 1 year ago today. So
yes, I saw that Twitter post.
On a good day. Yes.
So, happy anniversary.
And it's thank you. It's just past 30,000 miles, and no problems to speak of, really.
You sing happy birthday?
Nope.
Oh, you know what?
It was born October.
If I had more time and I was more thoughtful, my wife always complains I'm not thoughtful enough. I would have got a little cupcake or something like that with a little candle in it.
Yeah, we would have
sang you happy birthday to your car. Oh, what's your car's name, by the way?
I'm glad you forgot.
Are you glad I forgot? Okay. No. Did you name your car?
It's named Plug because I'm not very creative.
Hey, that's a creative name, Plug.
Yeah.
I've heard some worse ones. That's not bad at all. So don't worry about it. Have you done anything to your car?
Nothing big. I just got I got some new wheels. They were from a sponsor. But I got some new wheels which I really like. They look like the Roadster ones.
Yeah, they look nice.
And I did have you seen the screen tilt from Tech Forum? Matt from Tech Forum.
Oh, you got Matt's mount, eh?
Yep, I did that. I actually love it. I didn't think I was really going to like it, and he asked me to review it, and so I was like, yeah, of course. It's one of my favorite channels, by the way, and thank you.
Yeah.
And so I installed it, and actually I still have it because I like it so much. And then just the little things, of course, the center console wrap, which is like everyone has to do day one. If you don't, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And little storage modifications here and there. That's about all.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Well, any of you guys have any questions for Chris before we get on with the news? I just wanted to any new person I get on, I want to sort of just do this like a little 5-10 minute spotlight on people, just to get to know everyone instead of just saying, "Hey, welcome to the show. Let's get to the news," and not really find out about you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got any questions, or can we start with the news?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll bother him later when I think of something.
Yeah. If something pops up at the end, just we'll do it at the end after we finish.
I'll just cut you off like mid-sentence and start screaming, Chris, I got a question. No.
So like usual.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing changed. Okay, so we've got last week we were off, so if any of these topics are old, bear with me. I apologize, but I think we've got some new stuff. I mean, we'll start with the Model Y. I mean, where else can we start other than the Model Y? There's so much news about it. That's not what I want to show. That's what I want to show. First and foremost, I guess we can talk about. I guess someone took a picture of the back trunk. I guess the hatchback lifted up and everything. And look at the size of all this room in here, guys. Like, I mean, this is what I think a lot of people, when they first got the Model 3, was yearning for. They were, I mean, not to say we all have Model 3s, so we can all attest that the Model 3 has some awesome storage for a sedan. Yeah. I mean, I just came back from Florida for a week with the whole family, and I had like 3 suitcases in there, plus other stuff. And it fit just fine, plus stuff in the frunk and plus stuff inside. So storage wasn't a problem. But with the Y, looking at these pictures here, and apparently you can see on the right-hand side, you guys can see the picture I put up there, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. On the right-hand side there's the well. It looks a little deeper than the 3. And apparently, I haven't seen a picture of it, but a couple months ago, someone had said that there's 2 wells in the Y. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if that second well is sort of if you don't get the 7-seat configuration, and that's what it was just like roughed in for, maybe. Could be for that, but I'd like to see it. And if that's true, that does have 2 deep wells plus all the storage in the trunk. It's
maybe the second well is like a hidden well, and that's where you're going to put your SSD drive for your Century.
That's a good idea.
That'd be cool.
Really?
Yeah, a little, thoughtful design, wouldn't that be, right?
So if you zoom in on the second photo, you can actually see there's like a lip that comes down and then it goes down further. So I don't know if that's you zoomed in too. So I'm like just blowing up my screen here, but it's like a second lip that goes down, right? You can kind of see it.
Yeah, no, like a ledge. Yeah.
Yeah. The 3 has something like that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of tapers down as it gets deeper.
It seems really deep though.
It does. It does seem deeper than our 3s. Now,
I was just going to say, I think that the hatchback, to me, I miss that. So as you know, we also have a Model X that my wife drives, which I don't really drive very much. But for example, like when last week I did that little party sleepover in my Model 3, and I wish it was a hatchback.
The unlimited chip bag. Where'd you get that? No, okay.
Yes. But yeah, I'm really interested in. Eventually, I'm going to trade in the Model 3. Going to get the Cybertruck, of course, which I don't know what I'm going to do with all these Teslas. But
if you're like me, go broke.
If you're going to collect something, why not collect Teslas?
Yeah, so I'm not joking. I've been looking at houses in my neighborhood that are going up for sale, just to purchase them, rent them out, and rent them with no garage, so I can utilize the garage for my Teslas.
Buddy, this is a rhetorical question. Don't say it on air, but I'd love to know what you do with it. You have so much money. You have patience to do different things.
No. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, no, it was rhetorical. I don't want you to say. I'm obviously joking, but no. We're all. I think it's safe to say we're all excited about the Model Y coming. Some people more than others, because some people just got to put down a deposit a couple days ago. So some people by the name of Chris.
Yes, that was me. I put it down 2 days ago because I have some nice supporters that pushed me into it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And now, if all goes well and you go through with that and it all works out, are you just get the all-wheel drive, non-performance, like the one you have now?
I'm a very practical person, I say, as I'm buying $50,000 cars, but I'm all about practicality and efficiency, and I just want the best tool for the job. And I also love tech, so yes, all-wheel drive is kind of the best for me with the winters and everything. And I wouldn't pay for the P. I wouldn't pay for the extra speed necessarily. It's just, I don't know, not worth it to me.
No, I hear you. And it's funny.
Go ahead. I was just say I agree. Once you're at 4 point something seconds, getting to 3 point something.
It's pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
fast.
So
I guess I'm practical like Chris.
so now that we're on the topic, question: what I know you guys are both interested in Cybertrucks. Which trim are you interested in?
I reserved the dual motor due to price, but I would want the tri-motor for the range.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If money wasn't an object,
sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did the exact same thing. Same reason.
I went with tri-motors purely for range.
Yeah.
Or
with the winter, it's important.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, my current one is just over 500. I'm like, this is great. Those extra 300 make a world of difference.
You guys are talking in kilometers. You're going to kill me.
Sorry. 310, okay?
It's like something like 249 of 251 countries use metric. I'm just saying.
Those guys are silly. I know.
I'm sorry. I didn't even think of that as you said it.
No, you're good. I'm used to it. I'm sorry not to go off too much, but we had the radio on one time, and I didn't realize it was a Canadian station. And I'm outside in a t-shirt, and they're like, "It's currently 15 degrees out," and I'm like, "No, it's not." But it was Celsius. Okay, we can continue.
You can't go off on tangents.
Not on my channel.
Dax's channel is the best for this. We can talk about anything, and it's all fair game, right?
It's all fair game, guys.
Yeah.
So Franklin, I got to ask you though, and I've been meaning to ask you this practically every podcast as it comes up because of all your Teslas and all your pre-orders and all this kind of stuff. Do you have a wife you need to convince?
No, I do not.
Okay. So I think that's
part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem.
Yeah, we're not against wife bashing, but that is definitely key.
So basically, I spend freely, which is nice.
That is nice. That is really, really nice.
Enjoy it while you can, buddy.
Yeah.
No, and I only say that once again, like I said, all jokes aside, I only say that because your priorities become different and things change once you get a family. It's just
for sure.
It's a fact,
and
right?
see, I only not going into detail because we've done it. I've done it before. I only do it mainly for investment, right? I'll be honest. We'll touch on FSD later on or whatever, and
you selfish bastard.
We'll get to it when we get there. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, needless to say, we're all excited about the Model Y. One thing also that came in the news that they were talking about too is they were sending emails out. Oh, and you know what? It seems like they're really ahead of schedule, which is great. We all know that they are 6 months or whatever, but it looks like this thing is going to end up in people's hands probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For people down in the States like Chris there. It's like for us in Canada, summer, but even they said summer, but even just a couple days ago, I heard some Canadians, was it Glenn?
Glenn has a delivery date.
Yeah, he got a delivery date.
Glenn messaged me actually just before we started doing this, and he's like, check your Ys. So I actually had to go. I didn't receive an email, but I went onto my account, and it had a fill in a form to confirm delivery and set up a delivery date. And it's the way it's worded. It's like, we're going to ship the car to your house. Just give us an address so we can confirm this, right? So I don't know. The way I read the email, they're just going to have a car randomly show up in my house. It's going to come with UPS or FedEx or something. And it's
it's going to drive itself there. That's why we haven't gotten software updates in weeks.
Yeah.
So it will be funny watching the guy in the brown uniform coming up saying, "Hey, I've got your Tesla here. Can you sign for it?"
I don't know. It's just the way it was worded, right? It's just give us your address. The Tesla will be shipped to your address that you give us. And
wow, that's awesome.
But the question is that something that gets stolen off your Porsche? I don't know.
Porch pirates.
I'll take that Tesla.
Gonna need to make one of those glitter bombs. That made. Yeah.
Yes. Get what's his name? Mark
Rober.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking when I hear this expedited production and everything is also obviously because I think they're doing it better, and then and they've learned a lot from the 3, and we all know 75% comes from the 3 and all that kind of stuff. But also the fact that, it just seems that they're talking today or a couple of days ago, and I think I was reading an article on electric talking about how anyone that's got a reservation for a 7-seater, they're trying to, because they know, and they said it from day one, that the 7-seater is not going to be available until next year, which that could be fall by now. Who knows, right? With the way everything's changed. But they're sending emails out to some people saying, if you got a 7-seater, maybe you might want to consider the 5-seater and in the all-wheel or the performance stuff like that. So it's almost like they're trying to convert people, even though the 7-seater is more expensive. So electric, whoever was writing that article, I don't know if it was Fred or not. I didn't see the person that did it, and I wish I had it up to show you guys, but I don't. They were speculating that maybe could there be a demand problem, because it's not like Tesla to actually try to obviously Tesla's tried to convert people that had Model 3 reservations to S's and X's, mostly S's, and that's going up, but they've never did it where it sort of goes down.
Yes and no. So when the Model 3 was out, the time when I ordered mine, and I think you as well, Dax, and probably Paul, there was, because Chris because he has the all-wheel drive, the only model we can pick, the only trim level we can pick was the long range.
Yeah.
True.
So a lot of people bought the long range at the time because they wanted to have it. They didn't want to wait for the performance.
Right.
So
I was one of those.
Yeah.
I originally wanted the all-wheel.
I did too, and I didn't want to wait, so I placed my order, right? And that might be the only comparable I have in terms of situation.
Yeah.
Where they kind of convince people saying, hey, this is the trim that we have. If you guys want it, make a purchase, right?
Yeah, I took it as more of them. They want to just get the sale in, because if I have a reservation for a year, who's most people that are buying these are not like us that are just addicted to Tesla. Who's to say in 3 or 6 months that something doesn't come up and they're just like, actually, this car looks pretty sweet. I'm just going to get that. I'm not going to wait anymore.
Yeah.
So that's how I took their pushing is please just buy our car.
I think that's a good way to look at it. And also unit sales per quarter, right? It's like, remember when the iPhone came out, every quarter is like, we sold this many iPhones. Like, just keeps going up and up and up, right? So
I never thought
moving
of that.
demand forward, why not?
I'm curious about the long range now.
One more thing though, just about the 7-seater. Like, have you seen the photos and the video? I mean, it's really not like it's in case of an emergency 7-seater.
Well, you know what? A lot of 7-seaters are like that.
Yeah.
Well,
so
what I was going to say is, how about the long range? Because I have all mine are long range, so I think that's might be why I never got an email.
Well, yeah. Speaking of long range, and get back to my whole theory on this whole potential demand problem. But I'm glad you brought up the long range, because I don't know if it was on one of the podcasts or one of my just regular videos. I had talked about the long range, how I thought that they was going to come after, because they just releasing the more expensive models first, and then they're going to go down. But then I thought to myself, maybe they won't even do the long range, because they don't do the long range for the 3 anymore. Mm-hmm. So maybe they aren't going to do it. But then I just saw an article. Once again, I apologize. I forget what website I read it on, where they said that some people down in the States are starting to get emails to configure or to put in their order for the long range.
Yeah, that's promising.
Yeah,
not gonna happen. Nope, not gonna happen.
You don't think it's gonna happen?
No, there's not gonna be a rear-wheel drive. No, I really don't believe that.
Yeah, well, that's up until today or yesterday. Whenever I read that, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
especially
I saw those too.
A vehicle, right?
Sorry,
that classification of vehicle. So an SUV, like a 2-wheel drive SUV, is kind of a rare bird, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we own one. Our other car is an Equinox, and it's a front-wheel drive Equinox, only because going up to the next, it's a lease, and going up to that next all-wheel drive trim was like, you had to get all these other options, and it just like made the price skyrocket. Yeah. And so it is a little bit of a rarity when you get into the SUVs, but they're there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like pickup trucks. You can, not a lot of people get 4x4s. I mean, sorry, 2x4s, but they are out there, and they do make them. Yeah, no.
Don't ruin my dream, guys. I'm dreaming. I want my long range.
Yeah, no.
Long range.
Well, you know what? Time will tell. Time will tell. Getting back to that demand thing with the Model Y, what made me think after Electric said that, I thought to myself, you know what? Remember, they never. You got to wonder, and it just opens up the whole argument or discussion. Like, did they? Like, we don't know how many orders or reservations. I know and with the Model Y, there are orders as opposed to reservations. Like, we don't know. They never really discussed or revealed how many orders were made. And with the 3, they did it. With the Cybertruck, they did it. I'm not sure about the S and X, but basically the last few models that Tesla made, they always reveal the numbers except for the Y. So I'm thinking that, and then the fact that they made it super expensive, I guess you could say, maybe because when we all had 1,000 for ours, and then the Cybertruck was $100. Like, once again, I'm just thinking out loud and spitballing.
That's a good thought.
You got to wonder if with not just one of those, but you tie all of them together in a combination of things, you got to wonder, did they have a demand problem?
I think there's 2 reasons to not come out and say how many, right? So one is there aren't very many, so you don't want people to know that you have a demand problem for it. The other reason is you're sandbagging, right? And you don't want your competitors to know just how many of these things you've actually have on order, right? And my guess is it's the second one there, that they've got a ton. Like, just look at the market segment for this type of vehicle. It's huge compared to sedan now, right? Yeah. So I think we're going to see a huge number, huge volume. They probably won't be able to keep up with it.
Well, going based off what Paul was saying, sorry, Dex.
No, go ahead.
At the time, so the day of the Cybertruck event, just looking at the stock level too, it was like $310 roughly. The day after, it dropped to just under 300, and it was like really underwhelming. The whole event was really underwhelming.
Very boring.
Yeah, yes. It was. And I think the reason for that is, if you think the car's coming out in like 2 years, they have the 3, which is like, I know it's not the same, but it's...
sorry, we're talking about the Y event?
Yeah, we're talking about the Y, yeah.
Sorry.
So it's not the, like, the Y is not the same as the 3, but I think it's close enough where they figured we might still be able to get sales now. So why would they, like, promote a vehicle that's coming in 2 years? Kind of going back to what Chris was saying before. You want to get the orders in now rather than later if you can capitalize on them. So that's just my thought. And I think the Cybertruck, them releasing the numbers, and I think the last I saw is over 500,000 now. Based off people decoding the
projecting.
That one makes sense because people who are interested in a YR3, chances are that's not the same demographic of people who are interested in a Cybertruck. But I don't know. I'm not a marketer, so just throwing darts at the wall here.
That's a good guess.
No, we're that's what we're on here for, guys. We're all talking, getting our own opinions out there and spitballing.
For sure.
We're not trying to change anyone's opinions or anything like that. But no, using your argument, like you said, the Model Y event was very boring and subdued and everything. And a lot of people, and I tend to agree with them, a lot of people said that was done intentionally because at the time, they didn't want to cannibalize the 3. And it makes total sense. Like, if they came out and said, here's a car that looks almost exactly like the 3 that we're still selling, but you can't get right now, but it's better. Like, there's a lot of people that would hold off, right? I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people would.
I'm going to go back to what I was saying about the market segment, right? And sedans really have fallen off a cliff. And the largest market segment, it might actually be pickup trucks, but in the U.S. anyhow, is it? Yeah, but probably,
but it's close.
Yeah, probably a runner-up will be the mid-size SUV.
Yes,
right.
For sure.
So their addressable market is much bigger for this vehicle than I think it was for the 3.
You're right. It is a huge, gigantic market. Now, when you look at prices, this thing is way more expensive than the other things in the segment. But to be fair, so
acquisition
is the Model 3.
cost.
Well, no, so is the Model 3.
Yeah,
and
look how that
has blown everything out of the. I mean, I'm an example. I went from a $12,000 Ford Focus to a $50,000 Model 3. I never thought I'd spend $12,000 on a car. Are you kidding me?
So,
and I felt guilty buying that.
Yeah,
Chris, based off your live stream you did a couple of days ago, you're like, I never thought I'd buy this. I was like always conscious with, and I was in the same boat. I was like, you know, car's a waste of money. Exactly. And then I went and test drove one. The tech in this car just like, A to B, exactly. And then tech in this car just like totally changed my perception, right?
Yeah, for me it was autopilot because I've always done a lot of driving. It's just kind of how, I mean, I don't live in a big city. That's kind of how the US is, especially the Detroit area, because of the big three. There was not money spent on public transport in order to kind of force people to buy cars. And so everybody commutes a lot around here. And so when I first started seeing adaptive cruise control, when I was, you know, just getting out of college, I was like, my next car's having that. But, you know, it was all these like super expensive cars. So it was autopilot that really pushed me over the edge because I do all this commuting and it's like saved my life from a stress perspective. Like no. Yeah. So,
does it have, do the Teslas in Michigan have a special pothole avoidance mode?
No, but hopefully we're getting it soon. Yeah, I think that tweet was taken a little out of context. I think it was taken a little farther than he probably realized when Elon responded to that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Somebody tweeted and asked Elon, will there be like mini HD maps that the Teslas will share with each other that can include things like pothole avoidance? And Elon Musk just responded, yes. I'm not sure he read the whole tweet.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be interesting. Yeah, I guess, you know, I've heard. Let's not get into the pothole thing, but no, the why. After all is said and done, I think, like everyone is saying, all the experts and people, even the non-experts, are saying, and I think we can all agree that, you know, it's going to be the number one selling Tesla.
It's going to be huge. I do have one piece of anecdotal evidence. So at my work, I work with like 14 people, and of course I'm the Tesla guy, and nobody there. Yeah, exactly. And nobody there like cares that much about cars or whatever, but they found out about my channel, and so some of them watched it. And now, long story short, one of my coworkers ordered her Model Y.
No. Sorry, I got to stop
yesterday.
You there. Yeah. There's none of these long story shorts on my episode. Take as long as you want.
It's short stories long. Okay, so please extend this story.
I'm real good at that, so be careful, especially when we're talking about Tesla. So we have like some people at my work that are like not anti-Tesla, but they just give me crap about just for fun. But like they'll see, oh, there was a Tesla in a car accident. I'm like, yeah, cars get in car accidents every day. But they'll try to pick on me for that. So exactly, yeah. Oh wow, cars catch on fire! Like what a surprise. But so this one coworker, she never was really against it or for it, and I took her for a ride one time, and she was like, "Oh, this is cool." Well, her husband is like in IT and in tech and stuff, and so I was like, "You just need to go do a test drive." There's only one place in all of Michigan that you can do test drives, and it is about an hour from where she lives. And I was like, "You just go do the test drive and you'll end up buying one. I know you will. I guarantee it." And she was like, okay, I guess we'll do it. And then they were going to order the 3, but they really wanted the Y. And so they ordered it, I think, today. And now she comes into work and she's like, my husband told me that people are getting the email saying, you know, to schedule the pickup. And so another, you know, convert just from experiencing the car. That's like kind of the way it goes. So the Y is, I agree. It's kind of going to take over. It's just the way it's going to go.
It is.
I think so.
If you think where you are now, respectively, you see a lot of 3s around. Give it, I'd say 2 years from now, we'll come back and revisit this, see how many Ys you see.
There will be a lot. Yeah.
I used to get really, like, I always try to wave to the Tesla drivers around me. It's gotten to a point where it's like, man, there's so many, right? It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing to see, but like, my excitement level's like not dropping. Like I'm still really excited over Tesla, the brand and stuff, but it's like,
come on, don't be a Tesla snob. You gotta wave anyways.
No, trust me. I go out of my way to wave constantly. Okay, quick story.
Wind out window.
I was driving, and there's a car in the HOV lane to the left of me, and they were flying right in a Tesla, and you just see them like slamming on their brakes to slow down, so they can go the same speed at me. They waved to me, I waved back, and then they sped up to continue going. It was like the coolest thing to see. It's like
Franklin?
Yeah.
That was me.
Was it?
No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you live close enough.
I know. It wasn't me.
I have to think about it for a second.
What's funny with mine is I have such a dark tint is that I'll have the same thing, right? Like I'll be waving and I can see the person without the tint in the other car. They're like, who is that? Kind of thing. And then they're like, ah.
I got the same problem. I got the same problem. My car's too dark. No one can even see me.
I know. Yeah.
But you know what? Okay, let's move on off something that is equally exciting and popular to something that's exciting and popular, the Cybertruck. We got a little bit of news this week. Hold on, what did I do there? Yeah, did I do it right there? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, there we go. We got a little bit of news this week from our Lord and Savior himself, Elon Musk. And I say that jokingly, folks, obviously. In one of his random tweet storms or information sessions or whatever you could say, he divulged some stuff about the Cybertruck. I guess I forget who it was that asked him. Maybe it's down in this article. Oh, I think it was the everyday ask.
Yeah, it's pretty much always him.
Yes. Well, that's good. He's got Elon's ear, right?
Yes.
Well, in this tweet, he was asking, think the overall look will generally stay the same, though? And he said it's going to be even better. Now, of course, let's touch on that for a second. Obviously, he says it's going to be better. And not to say obviously, every Tesla vehicle that has gone from reveal day, I guess you could say prototype, even though they don't usually do prototypes per se, to when they finally get released to the customer, it's always better. So we're seeing that with the Y right now, right? And we saw with the 3. So will it be better? Of course it'll be better. But some other stuff that he was talking about, which I didn't know, this is interesting. Tell me if you guys knew this, that originally the one that was on stage at the reveal back in November was 84 inches wide. Like, I didn't think it was that wide. But what they're saying is now someone at one point, I think a couple weeks later, someone had asked Elon something on Twitter about the dimensions, and he said they'll try to get it down closer to 80. Well, now he's come out and said that they won't be able to do 80, but they're meeting in the middle. It won't be 84 as long as the one that was on the reveal, or sorry, as wide, but it'll be 82 inches. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to start to interrupt you. I was just going to say before this podcast, I looked it up. The Ram 1500 is 79 inches wide, and I'm assuming that and that's without the side view mirrors. And I don't know if the Cybertruck is going to have side view mirrors in the final design or not. But it's dangerously close to not being able to fit in my garage, and that's like a double wide. No, just kidding. No,
wow,
it's wide, right? It's
yeah. It'll have to.
I'm a little worried.
I was thinking that a couple days ago, but the mirrors, and yeah, they could do all the video cameras and everything. Like they have the camera for their rear view mirror because of the tonneau cover blocking it. But for towing, I know someone like myself that would be using the Cybertruck for towing and in all its glory. You sort of need mirrors for towing, like. Unless they can find some way to stick 2 drones that drive beside you and hover beside you.
You don't think the video feed can replace that, or you don't think they'll be far out enough?
Well,
it
has an extender.
It can do that, but Chris hit the nail on the head there. Will it be able to extend far enough out to see past? Because usually,
towing.
Even this is with 82 inches, and like I'm glad you brought that up, Paul. Thanks for doing that. Researching the Ram, I didn't know it was 79 because the Ram, I mean, it's a decent size, full size truck, right? So for that to be 79 and this one being 82, usually trailers, most at least like travel trailers and campers and stuff like that, are usually going to be a little bit wider than the towing vehicle itself. So that's why tow vehicles, ones that actually have the towing package, have those extended mirrors on it.
Yeah.
Okay, crazy idea. We're talking about Tesla here. Why can we not connect cameras to the Cybertruck that extend out, that integrate with the screen?
Like RF cameras?
Yeah, just like cameras. Put them on the back of your trailer that you're towing.
That would be great.
You can see it on the screen live. No longer the mirrors don't really matter anymore because you have live cameras.
Well, I actually have. It's funny you say that because the technology is out there for it. It's. I think they just do it with not Bluetooth. It's actually probably RF.
Okay.
I've got for my trailer, I've got a backup camera. I guess it's like a backup camera, but it's always on. It's for traveling, and it's mounted at the back of my travel trailer at the very, very back, and it points down off to an angle, maybe 45-degree angle. And then I've got a monitor that plugs into the serial lighter in my truck, and it has different channels, and you can actually get modules that go on the fenders that have cameras on there too. So they work as your blind spot for when you're making lane changes, and it'll show up on the monitor too. But it actually shows, and it actually helps me when I'm driving down the road, because you can't see what's behind the trailer, especially when I got a 26-foot trailer. You can't see what's behind it. So with that camera, it comes in very, very handy. And that company is Furion, but there's a lot of offshore companies that make that. So yeah, you're right.
What I'm saying, imagine that, but instead of having like a little monitor, it's built right into the screen. Like,
oh yeah,
it's really integrated and stuff. I mean, that kind of alleviates some of the concerns and stuff like that, right? It's just kind of
awesome.
Yeah. It doesn't the not the Cybertruck, but like the full-on truck, the Tesla truck, doesn't it have a camera system for
the semi?
The semi. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it does. I think you're right.
So
I would expect that they'll have a good solution, because all these types of questions, and it's a great question. You're totally right. I never even thought about it. I don't really tow anything ever, but then I never used to do this. I'm usually pretty critical about all this stuff, but I'm kind of getting into this mindset of like, they know what they're doing, because every time I have these questions, even I'm like, oh, got him on this one. It's always right. They always do it right. So it's a really great question, but I would assume he's thought of it. You should tweet him. Maybe he'll respond to you and say, oh yeah, you're going to you stick these things on, or, whatever.
You know where I feel bad in all this with the change in size? Do you guys see the half-size Cybertruck by who was it?
I just saw it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, the Hacksmith.
Yeah, Hacksmith. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're out. They're local, eh? They're out in KW.
Oh,
I know. I'm going out to see them on Saturday.
You're going? Oh yeah. So I got that invite too. Are you gonna go see them?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on Saturday. Yeah, for sure. I feel bad for them because they did half scale and their scale's off now.
I think they're okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to sleep. Like all that work.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a cool thing. See it pull that F-150. I mean, mind you, it was rear-wheel drive, but
still, it's still really cool.
It was 3 times the size. Yeah.
Do you know that thing cost them like over $50,000, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they said it cost more than the actual truck.
Yeah, for anyone at home listening or watching doesn't know, or maybe Chris, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story.
Now I think I know what you're talking about. But
yeah, I didn't even know about it until tonight, just before we came on. Someone sent me the link. There's a YouTube channel, a set of guys, and they're very brilliant guys. They have a whole channel to do a bunch of other stuff. Apparently, they made this beer cooler where it'll only open when you scan a Canadian passport over it. Apparently, so yeah, they make these ingenious little gadgets and stuff. Anyways, they made a half-scale a half-scale Cybertruck, and they tried to do this tug-of-war challenge with different vehicles and ATV. What was the first thing they tried? A little subcompact, like a I forget what kind of car it was.
It's crazy though. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The amount of detail they go.
Oh yeah.
So they have like the full computer system, and they actually recreated the whole UI that integrates with their actual car.
Did they?
You can open up. Yeah, it's insane. You can open up the little charging bay. You can adjust all the headlights and lights and stuff, and it's like fully operational. It's absolutely insane the amount of work they did. Super excited. I'm going to go see it on Saturday.
Oh, cool! You got to take some video for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I want to see if I can do like a live stream. I just don't know the
legalities.
Yeah, if they'd allow it.
You should make a video out of it.
Yeah, I will try.
Yeah. Do my theory. Ask for forgiveness afterwards. Don't ask for permission.
Yeah,
I butchered that whole thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and like I can't wait. I will definitely add videos or live stream or something. Like I will have something about it. After Saturday.
No live stream. Make a video out of it.
Make a video.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
It'll be very successful.
You guys said it. We'll do it. I'll do a video.
All right, and it'll be better quality that way.
Yeah.
Dax, you going on Saturday or Paul? You guys are close enough. I mean,
yeah, I'd love to go. I just found out tonight it is. I've got plans on Saturday.
I must not be on somebody's good list because I didn't get an invite.
Yeah, me neither. What the heck?
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Chris, I have 2 RSVPs. I'll kick out the other person. Come down. You make the trip. I'll do it.
Is it in Toronto?
It's in a suburb outside Toronto area. It's called Kitchener-Waterloo. So it's in Kitchener, and
it's actually closer to Chris than Toronto.
Almost, yeah. I got notified through an email by the Waterloo Regional EV Association.
So I'm going to drop you guys a link if you guys want. Just send them a DM, and if you're interested,
okay. Yeah, we can talk about it later.
Yeah, for sure. So,
the other thing that I want to touch on before we get off the subject of the Cybertruck is including in that little information session from Elon about the Cybertruck. He mentioned that the Cybertruck will have, and I'm looking for the exact wording because I don't want to mess it up. Anyways, he was talking about the laser lights, or he termed it, and I wish I had the actual.
Keep going down. It was down there.
Was it down there?
The thin strip of light across the top.
Well, here's my question, because I've read
right there. It's standard with upper laser blade lights.
Upper laser blade.
But come standard with upper. Yeah, there you go. So why do some people then? Because I'm convinced, especially now that I've seen this upper part right here, I'm convinced. Yes, let me go back and show you the picture here, right up here. I don't know if you can see my cursor there. It's the top part on the roof above the windshield. That like a light bar on what would be on a regular traditional pickup truck or Jeep. Mm-hmm. I think it's that, but there's a lot of people online that seem to think that it's the headlights. He's referring to the headlights, because this picture here was from reveal day, and you see how the headlight, the projection of it being one solid beam, all same type of concentration from the left side all the way to the middle to the end. Now, remember when Elon took it out and paparazzi was all over when he hit that cone, and some people said when he went to dinner. The lights on that one, and that was only 3-4 weeks after the reveal, were different. It seemed to have been toned down a lot in the middle. It still was illuminating, but it had toned down, and the majority of the light that was casting as the headlights were almost traditional looking, where they were on the left and right. They weren't really coming out like in this picture here, where they're coming out as one solid horizontal beam. So that's why I get why maybe some people are thinking that's what is the laser. But when they say upper, or when he says upper, then upper laser blade lights. You guys have any input or any opinion on that?
I thought it was the upper one.
Yeah,
but I'm wondering, like the one, the main one. Let's call it the main headlight section, if you can call it that. I'm wondering if there's like legal requirements that they'll have to comply to that might prevent them from actually doing that.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's certain amount of, I don't know if this is a term or I'm making up, projectability that many states and regulations and provinces and stuff like that, you have to, with a certain amount of candlewatt power. Now, I don't know if candlewatt power works the same as lumens now that most things are LED. But yeah, there are some things that they have to conform to, yes. But I don't know if that would change it in terms of the design. I think they could just make it more intense and maybe make it focus, or make the focal point of the beam. They, Tesla, they can do, like what Chris was saying earlier. Like, I'm sure Tesla's thought of this, and we saw it already. Like I referred to when Elon was driving it that day, they already looked different.
Yeah. I just worry that there's some states and some provinces in Canada have, we've seen it before where they have strange, archaic laws on the books about what a vehicle, like it's side view mirrors, for example, right? Like right now you can't do cameras as far as I know, right? So, who knows? There's might be something stupid like that. Let's hope not.
No, I agree, buddy. There may be. Anyone before we move on to the next topic? Anything anyone wants to say about the Cybertruck other than it can't?
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't get here soon enough.
Yes.
Oh man, I can't. Okay, the next topic, and this one, like I was saying earlier, we've been off for 2 weeks. This one might be a little old to some people. Let me just get rid of this. But now I don't know if this was the original website that it came out with, the Nikkei. It's an Asian review website.
I think so, yeah.
It rings a bell. Basically, in a nutshell, and you guys probably already know about this, they took some, whether it was developers or people that just worked for Toyota and Volkswagen, and they brought them in a room and they disassembled it. They took apart a Model 3, and they basically asked these guys, why can't you guys do that? Or can you do that? And they were blown away, and and mainly they're talking about the overall car, but they were concentrating on the FSD part of it, and they were saying that they can't do that right now. They can't do this probably on this, I guess, the path that these big companies are on right now. They're looking at 5 to 6 years. And that
during the FSD Autonomy Day event, it's actually kind of interesting. The day after was probably the most interesting thing that came out of all that. So NVIDIA is like one of the leaders in FSD chips, and NVIDIA actually came out and gave Tesla a lot of credit, saying like Tesla's chip is the only one that's comparable with ours. Obviously, they want to pump up their own. They're like, but ours is open source, blah, 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 blah. What they failed to leave out is Tesla's is actually extremely energy efficient. And I don't know why this is a shock to people, because, I mean, NVIDIA is like a leader in this, and even they acknowledged it, right, a long time ago. So just kind of interesting to see these guys finally catch up to see what, NVIDIA, who's the leader, or the other leader in the department's actually said months ago, right?
Well, keep in mind, there's a few things I took from this. It's, first of all, this is Toyota and Volkswagen we're talking about. Like, these are arguably the two biggest automakers in the world, right? And I don't know if they were picked like that intentionally for this article or study or whatever you want to call it, but just the fact that these two big giants are admitting to this, and I guess we can argue that maybe they're not admitting. These are just two people that are independent and maybe not speaking for. I'm just playing that devil's advocate here, but not speaking on behalf of the company. But keep in mind too, another thing is, if they're saying 5-6 years away, that's considering where Tesla is now. And you think Tesla's going to sit back and just sit on their heels and wait for people to catch up? No, they're, like you were saying, how you referred to Autonomy Day, Franklin. They were, when they talked about and released Hardware 3 FSD stuff, they were talking about the 4th version that they're working on, the future. So they're not sitting back and waiting for these companies to catch up. They're working on it. So will that 5 or 6 years ever be caught up?
So where I think the other companies are getting in trouble is and we've heard this before from Elon, where LiDAR is a fool's errand, right? And Elon just has a different way of looking at the world and saying, hey, I can do this. Humans have 2 eyes. The car has 8 cameras. It should be able to drive itself, right? So you've got other manufacturers who are putting their eggs in a LiDAR basket, and I think Elon's idea is going to come out on top, personally. I think he has it right. It's going to drive using the cameras. I don't think you're going to need LiDAR, and that's just going to put the other manufacturers like GM and, who are big on that, and some others just further behind, right? That's my opinion.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that, like the whole LiDAR argument. Yeah, that in itself, if it comes and turns out that Elon is right and it can work the way he is, because I mean, we can all assume and hope and think it will, and like I said, I hope it will, but we'll never know until it actually comes.
Logically you can get there though, right? Like, humans have 2 eyes and there's got 8 eyes, right?
You need the brain.
And
it's just a neural net between them.
So if you guys are interested, watch Andrew Karpathy, I think his name is. Karpathy, there you go. Pronunciation. But anyway, he does a lot of like random talks here and there, and he's the head of all that, and his stuff is unbelievable. So if you guys are interested, definitely Just do a quick Google search, YouTube them. You can get a lot of information about FSD, Tesla, their whole thoughts, how it runs in the background and all that sort of stuff. And it's really fascinating. And you get a really good idea as to why Tesla's so far ahead. It's purely because of data collection. That's what it boils down to. I mean, the chip is impressive, and don't get me wrong, it is. But I think it's their data collection that's going to put them even farther ahead than anyone else.
Yeah, they definitely have that going for them. They have so many things going for them. I mean, like I took from that article.
Hold on, I'm going to buy more stock right now.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
No, I took from the article that, they were also talking about the car itself and the parts and stuff like that. But yeah, I know the main thing is that FSD computer. And isn't that guy you just mentioned, Karpathy, isn't he the head of FSD?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, the autopilot program. Yeah, he did a talk on PyTorch, which is way above my head. I tried to watch it, and I was like, "Oh, this will be interesting." I didn't understand a word that guy said, but some of the visuals were nice.
Those are the best.
Yeah. You just sit there and you pretend that you know what you're saying, but you know it yourself.
You just sit there and you're like, "I'm so dumb."
Yeah. Software is not my strength, that's for sure.
So I'm really big into software, and I understand quite a bit of it, so it's really fascinating to me. But then I watched stuff like, I watched the whole Neuralink conference. I watched the full 3 hours.
That was good.
It was good, but I'm not a science person. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm watching, I'm like, this is really cool, but like, what does it all mean? Right?
That one I can help you with. That one I got you.
Yeah. You're into biology. No, I couldn't get that either. That was very way over my head. I mean, this microphone's over my head.
But it's the stuff that he's doing, and it's kind of going back to, I don't know who mentioned it, Paul or Dax, or one of the three of you, where Elon's like a really forward-thinking person, and you can't discredit him thus far because he's always entered in markets where he was ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
and he's entering at I don't know, it's just a really fascinating.
He always
individual.
gets it done. He just always gets it done. Sometimes it's late, but he says, my example I always use is the Boring Company. He's just tweeting like, "Oh, I'm stuck in traffic. I wish I could like dig underground to get away from this. I'm going to start a Boring Company." Everyone's like, that's so funny. And like now it's like actually threatening
a real thing.
other tunnel digging companies.
See, I think the biggest one that people underestimate is PayPal. So the fact he started PayPal, it started in a point in time where people are kind of afraid of online transaction. I know it might sound dumb, but it just wasn't a common thing. And he's like, let's start this because this is going to be big. And that kind of obviously kickstarted him financially, but just really fascinating, just his whole history, right?
Well, one of the viewers on one of my videos said something really cool, especially if you're a hockey fan. He said that the difference with Elon is that he's skating towards where the puck is going to be, not to where the puck is.
That's a
right?
Gretzky thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best explanation I've ever heard, of how to explain what Elon is thinking.
Well, it's it's very interesting because I know you guys can crucify me now, but I just started reading, quote unquote, listening to the Elon Musk book, and just
I never read it.
Some stuff in there.
I read parts.
Right, well,
I'll wait till it comes to TV.
Well, I'm listening.
All right, Dax, no crucifixion here. I think you're the only one doing it.
Okay. I thought I was the last. But it's some interesting stuff in there. And
this hipster here.
He's got a lot more. I know people have
just missing the longer beard.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I know a lot of people have
plaid shirt. Sorry, Dax. Sorry. Go continue. We're listening. We're here.
Yeah.
I can just mute you guys, right?
Yeah.
I would never do that. But
and it's not a latte. It's a pressed coffee with steamed milk. By the way, I'm just saying.
I have no idea what that is. I don't drink coffee. And I know what happens.
Ask a hipster.
Oh, hipster. Oh, don't get me started with hipsters. Sorry if you're a hipster and you're listening to this.
Yes, no offense.
No offense.
Hipsters out there.
But
they can be offended. It's okay.
Yeah, if you want to turn it off right now, because we're going to go off on hipsters in about 10 seconds. No, all I was going to say is I know a lot of people have referenced Elon to Steve Jobs, and I never really, other than the success and how they disrupted the industry, I didn't get the personal part of it. But listening to this book, I see what he means. And did anyone catch that CNBC thing? It was some 30-minute or 40-minute not a documentary, but a news article. I think it was CNBC.
The interview with him?
Yeah, I think I saw it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It had just different parts of different interviews and different articles and stuff like that. And that was pretty interesting too, because they talked to the two founders, Mark and Martin, of Tesla, and needless to say, they didn't have very good things to say about Elon. And if you know the whole history behind it, then it all makes sense. And now that I'm listening to the book, and I'm at chapter 7 where they talk about Tesla, it all makes sense and it's all relatable. But anyways, we won't get too deep into the weeds. I mean, this is a Tesla podcast, but we don't need to get too deep in the weeds. But we're just talking about the teardown and what I guess Toyota.
Can we talk about something? I know we're totally jumping ahead here. Because it all ties in because we're talking about the FSD stuff, right?
Yeah.
One of the questions was about the FSD rewrite that's coming.
Oh, that's a question. Okay, can we hold that? Because that's a viewer question I have.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, did you want to tie it in? Because we're here now. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
No.
So Tesla London's question was, when is the FSD rewrite coming?
Yes, that's right. Yes. Okay.
So
we're going to do most of the questions at the end, but this is just one of them because segue is good into.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the only reason why. I was like, it made sense.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the FSD rewrite?
Some people have been saying in the last week or so, because I guess we're all so spoiled with getting updates at least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 a month, and we haven't got any much at all. We're already at the end of February. We've only had one for the year. Some people are speculating that the not the engineers, I guess, but the coders or writers or what are these software developers, whatever you are there, Franklin. They're busy doing that, and some people have speculated that
I agree.
Elon has said to these people, "Don't do anything else. Don't put any more bells and whistles until you get this FSD up and running and out the door." And I can see it. It makes total sense. I mean, he did say it was supposed to be feature complete, quote unquote feature complete, at the end of the year, and it really wasn't. And then he had to come out, and not that Elon had any problem doing it, because he's always late with his promises. But he came out and said, "Yeah, it won't be the end of the year, but it'll be a little soon after." So yeah, maybe that's what they're doing.
Hey, Franklin, just for context for the viewers, because you have a background in this stuff, why are they rewriting it?
Okay, so it's kind of interesting because Mark and I were talking about this last year, and I told him that this was coming in before Tesla announced it. And my reasoning was this, because Elon kept talking about he runs a different version of software than we do, and it's pretty obvious because he talks about features that we don't have. And if you think about our computer right now, we're maxing out at 80% CPU usage, so you can't go higher than 100. Obviously, that's your cap. So they can't do more on. When I say we have, I mean like 2.5 hardware, right? So you can't go beyond the 80% that we're using right now. So basically, the new hardware brings that 80%, the same software that we have right now, drops down to like 5%, 10%. So that gives them like a ridiculous amount of more resources that they can work with. So part of the problem is they can't, and I've been back and forth on this idea, so they can't mass send out, like think about the pylons, like how many people are upset on the pylons just because hardware 2.5 and 3. Could you imagine them sending out a update that allows people to have FSD on hardware 3 where you have the mass majority of people who aren't upgraded yet? So they need the CPU usage to come down, so they have more to work with now, and they can't add anything to our existing software, and they can't release the new software until people are upgraded. So they're kind of in a tough predicament. Until people are getting upgraded, they can't utilize the new CPU until more people are getting upgraded. I don't know. I think just because backlash, basically. It's just a guess.
No, it's not even a guess. It's educated, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and Mark and I, like I said, we were talking about this in November, December, because I've been really optimistic about FSD, mainly because Elon said we're going to have, it's basically navigation on autopilot through stop signs and streetlights.
That's what we need.
That's what it'll be, right? And when he said, like, a preview of it, I tweeted out before it happened, I'm like, you're just going to have streetlights and stop signs and stuff. I knew exactly what it was. but it's just understanding the software and how it's developed, and understanding that they've maxed out their resources already. They can't extend what we have any further without taking away stuff. And I don't think they want to go down the path of releasing this new piece of software until people are actually upgraded, because I think they're going to have a huge backlash. Like something as small as charging people $10 a month for internet on something that they told people that was, had a lot of angry people. Could you imagine being like, oh yeah, you paid for FSD, but your car's not ready for an upgrade yet, and there's cars driving around by themselves, right? So, just a thought.
Well, you paid for FSD, but you don't really have it. Like in my case.
Mine too.
Yours too, eh? You have the same problem?
Especially for outside of the U.S. I mean, you guys are... Canada's probably next, of course, after the U.S., but outside of the U.S. is going to take a long time, especially with regulations. I mean, you guys can't even see the images, which is ridiculous. I kind of think that... I don't know why that was excluded. There is no way a regulatory body is like, no, you cannot display a stoplight on the
You'd be surprised.
We're driving blind.
But there are other cars. Aren't there other cars that have like, isn't it a Lexus or something that when you get to the stoplight, you can see the light and show you what it is?
Really?
So, yes, yeah. And it can even predict. It'll say, it'll do a countdown for you. And
okay, so
only in the US, I don't know.
In the US, there's certain places in the US that have their streetlights have an open API, which allows the companies to integrate, and you can actually see the countdown timer on your car. So I know BMW does it, Audi,
that's super cool.
A lot of the high-end ones, yeah. I don't think they'll ever do it here. Could you imagine, like, you see the countdown? It's great for street racing. Yeah.
We already see the countdown, and people rely on that countdown when they're just trying to beat an amber light.
Oh yeah,
like just or a stale green or something. So yeah, people take advantage of that a lot. Some smaller municipalities actually, what they do to counter that, because we've become so used to this countdown, is it'll count down to 0, and then it'll just the orange hand. I don't know if you guys have this in the States. I'm being ignorant here. Sorry. So anyone that's not non-Canadian listener or watcher won't know what we're talking about. Probably thinking, what the hell are we talking about? But a hand comes up afterwards and just flashes, and then the countdown goes away. They've done this to combat, I guess, people that are timing the light. Not in a lot of places, but a few.
Going from green to red? This happens from green to red?
No, okay, so you know the pedestrian countdown for, like, the people that are crossing? People use that countdown as the countdown for the light, right? Yeah, so to compensate, I knew the hand was there, I just never understood why. So basically, there's like a flashing hand, orange hand, right? Is it orange, white, red? I don't know, something.
We do have this. We do have white. I thought you meant on the traffic light.
No. Off to the side, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Getting back to the regulation, edge cases and regulations and stuff like that, Chris. I mean, like I said, I just came back from a trip down to Florida. Must have went through 4 or 5 states and coming back up probably another 4 or 5 and maybe an extra one here and there. And there are so many different road markings, so many little different things. Like I was saying in a video I'm putting together, that's taking me a real long time to upload. But that's another thing. That I probably traveled honestly a good 95 to 98% of it was on autopilot. Yeah. We're talking 26 hours of driving. Yeah.
I believe it.
Hours of driving and stopping. 26-hour days, right? 2 days, over 2 days. And probably a good, at least 95% of it was on autopilot. But at times, it didn't shine like it was supposed to. At one point, I was in Navigate on autopilot, and you know how usually it'll tell you to get over to the right lane when you're coming up to an exit. If you have the sound on the nav, it'll tell you, and then it'll put the signal on and it'll go off to the lane. I've watched many of your videos, Chris, where you do the challenge and stuff like that, and it goes. But we know that it goes off about 3 or 4 times on both trips up there, down there and back up. It told me, like, the exit's coming up, verbally told me, but it never put the signal on. And if I wasn't paying attention, I would have missed the exit. I actually missed one exit. And then the opposite happened once. It was scared the crap out of me. I'm driving. I don't have, I probably got 10, 15 kilometers, which is about 10 miles before the exit. So I'm not even thinking, but I'm in the right lane. And all of a sudden we come up to an exit, but I'm expecting it to go straight. It puts the signal on it. And actually,
I've seen that too. Yeah.
Into the lane. That's
very rare.
I've never seen that happen in Ontario or Toronto area.
If I want to do a video of it, I can replicate it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Correct.
You should, because I have a spot on my way to work, so I'm very familiar with it. And there's an exit on both sides, which first of all is the stupidest design ever. If you design roads, what is wrong with you? But I'm on the left side, and there's an exit going to the left, and it hasn't happened in months. But randomly, my car will turn on the turn signal and like jump to the exit, like it swerves to the exit, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it's happened in my year of the car, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. Wow. No reason. It doesn't matter if there's cars around, there's not cars around, weather. I can't figure it out. And it hasn't done it in a long time, so maybe it's not going to do it anymore. But yeah, and it turns on the signal, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then,
it's fascinating because it doesn't learn.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But going onto the highway, because I take the same entrance onto the highway every day. Just last week, I had autopilot on regular streets, right? Of course. And I stopped at a red light. There's cars in front of me, and my car's driving up, and then the car signaled to go on, and navigation on autopilot came on, and it took the on ramp by itself. And it's never done that before.
Whoa.
And I was totally I know such a small little thing, but I was totally wow, this is it's so cool. And I was like, who'd I share this with, right? Because who else is obsessed with Tesla like me, right? So
yeah,
that's why we're here.
Yes, these guys.
Well, I went back, and I'm not joking, I went on and off that same stretch 15 more times just to see if I can replicate it and get it on video. Couldn't do it once.
Well, it all goes to show you, getting back to our original point, it's these small little edge cases all over the place. And this is we're just talking down in the States and here in Canada. Now, when you look into different countries and stuff like that, where it's even when you're driving on a different side of the road, like Australia and England and everything, and there's a reason, I guess, I don't know if there's a reason, but you got to wonder why, or not wonder why, Europe has taken the autopilot away from them, or crippled it a lot, and made them turn it down. So there's so many.
Well, I mean, they're the only ones that could get Apple to get rid of the lightning jack for the USB-C. So
not yet.
Not yet. I thought that passed.
So we're totally off topic now. It technically passed, but they did this to them 10 years ago with the micro USB, and they found a loophole in the law. So right now, what passed was that they agreed they're going to have a standardized charger. They haven't agreed to what it is or how it's going to be implemented yet.
Okay.
So that's coming next.
All right, very good. So scrap that analogy.
Yeah, but so real quick, so the visualization, it's not geofenced. So if we take our cars from Canada to the US, it will not work.
No, correct. Trevor found that out.
Yeah. I'm curious if someone from the US takes their car to Canada, does it shut off?
No. Why?
Because you're in our land. You're on our land.
No, I place that in with front license plates. I don't have to have a front license plate when I go there.
Yeah, true.
So,
by the way, I put my front license plate to go down to Florida because I didn't know state by state that I was going through which.
Oh no, if you're from Canada, it doesn't matter.
I didn't want any hassles from any state troopers, so
you don't.
I erred on the side of caution and just
Well, Dax, get one of the new plates. You want to have a front one or a back one?
At least at nighttime.
You know what? I actually saw one a few nights ago in Toronto, and anyways, we're getting down our
we're off topic.
Okay, our last topic before we get on to some viewer questions and
viewer questions. Those are the most important.
Yes. One last one we're going to talk about. I think Paul, you're going to handle this one about the long range stuff.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So there were a couple of things last week, over the past week in the news. So one is that the Consumer Reports did the testing of I think it's a long range rear wheel drive. They described something called long range mode. We know that the Model 3 doesn't have a range mode setting, but anyhow, they were able to get 350 miles of range on the Model 3, which is rated for 310. currently, right? So I've always thought that for Tesla, they've got great battery tech, probably the best in the world, but often people overlook their battery management system as another kind of secret sauce, I will call it. And I think that they've been able to make efficiency gains without a larger battery pack. And I think this kind of demonstrates that is happening, that Tesla's continuing to make ongoing improvements. A couple of times they've come out and said, here's 5% more, here's 5% more. But just, with every release, they might be sneaking things in that just improve efficiency. And I've definitely noticed it this winter, which we've talked about on our previous podcast. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and then we can kind of discuss it as a group. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I just want to, did you see that they edited it?
No.
Yeah, and it still doesn't mean anything to me. They changed it to, and they put a little note at the bottom, but they changed it to in CR testing, our Model 3 running in the daily driving setting matched the 310 mile range reported by the EPA. In trip driving setting, our Model 3 achieved 350 miles, which to all four of us, I'm sure we're all going, that's still nothing.
What is trip setting?
Never heard of it. I thought
I never heard of it,
but I just went and looked at my profile and the tweet's not there. So continue, but
yeah. So I mean, some people are speculating the chill mode or something like that. Theoretically, in chill mode, you're going to have better efficiency because the acceleration is not going to be as sensitive. But what I was going to say is, I have noticed an improvement over the winter. The other thing that I want to talk about is the 109 kilowatt hour battery pack that I think they were talking about. This came out in the news this past week. It's going to push range above 400 miles. And I think that's like a key milestone, for lack of a better word, because that's that range now, a lot of gas cars can't even get that type of range, right? So I think that's a significant development over the last week. It's going to be a no-brainer. The thing, range anxiety, is going to be an absolute thing of the past. It should be today, at least in North America. A lot of, for the most part, most of North America. I know that there's some rural areas that don't have as great coverage with superchargers and whatnot. But, I haven't felt range anxiety in a long time, and I've been a Tesla owner, 640 kilometers. I've been a Tesla owner since 2017, right? So I think this is great news. I'll turn it over to you guys to chat about that.
Chris, you were saying it earlier?
Yeah, so just you're talking like increased efficiencies getting squeezed out?
Well, there's increased efficiencies, but also there's people are speculating that there's going to be, because someone saw it in some code somewhere, 109 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Right.
Yeah, green guy.
Yeah, 109 or 110.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably related to plaid mode.
Yeah, that's what
you think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you need so part of when the Roadster, they said 620 miles of range, everyone's like, whoa, what the heck? It wasn't that the Roadster needs 620 miles of range. It was that you need that much battery to push that much power.
Yes.
A small battery can only push so much power at once. So the bigger the battery, the more you can put to the wheels.
Yes.
So I think that's just my guess, is that it's related to plaid. And then you get that other bonus of now you can have the non-performance Model S that will have the 110, and you can say it has 450 miles of range or whatever the heck it's going to have.
Yeah.
And then you can have the plaid mode that's the performance anyway, and the range will be worse, just like all the performance cars. But it still has the big battery for the power. But I mean, that's my guess. I think that's why. And I know Elon has said in the past, they're not going above 100, but people learn and change their mind over time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's one of the worst parts about the internet is you can't change your mind. But they probably realized we need a little more battery for more power. While we're at it, we'll cross that insane 400-mile range barrier, and then we'll have a party.
Yeah, Franklin, anything to add?
Nothing really to add. I kind of agree with Chris. It's just more power for a faster car.
But I think a lot of people, if you look at the majority of Tesla owners, I would say that most of them aren't obsessed with speed, obsessed with mashing the accelerator. Wait a minute, I mash the accelerator all the time. Maybe scrap that whole thing. What I'm trying to say is that if you don't drive it like you
stole it.
Yes, I was going to say something else, but yours actually is more family friendly. If you don't drive it like you stole it, right, then you get to benefit from having some crazy range, right? Right. That's just the point that I'm making. So I think for most people, it's a good thing.
Well, it definitely is. It is a good thing. And I think they're able to squeeze out performance more so than everyone else, right?
Absolutely. They're like miles ahead of the competition here. Like, didn't the ID3 come out like with 170 miles of range or something, and like something really disappointing, right?
So I was at the auto show. I got the little book, and they had a whole section on EVs, and they compared range, and it's really embarrassing. Like, they didn't even put the Tesla in the book, which is like the worst part about it all. It's huge beef, but they compared range, and like, okay, I'll give Bolt credit. It's like 380.
Bolt's good.
Yeah, I have no problems with it. But that was the only one there that was like even comparable. And nothing against the other cars. Like at least the companies are starting to put them out now. They're starting to push it. It's a huge thing at the auto show. But the Range was like, it's just not there. Right? So I understand that if people say like EV has a range problem. Sure, it does. With all the other brands. If you go look at a Tesla, you're not going to have that issue.
Yeah, exactly. There isn't a range problem.
No.
I completely agree. Is that somebody's bird?
No, it's my cat chirping. My cat likes to chirp. I don't know.
Okay, folks, moving on. Thanks for all your guys' input there. We're going to move on to some, we only got time for a few viewer questions and listener emails and stuff like that, because I
demand questions as the guest.
Yes, you demand questions. Okay, well, let me put one of these suckers up for you. Where is it? Right here.
I mean, I demand you cover a lot of them. It's my favorite part of all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this was off Facebook. A user on Facebook on one of my, I forget what group it was. I apologize. I'm gonna say the Model 3 group. Anyways, Carrie G. Nicole or Nickel. I don't know if it's Nicole or Nickel. He or she, because they could go either way, says, how about Tesla making updates mandatory? Edit. I realize they are not making it mandatory, but losing features or access because of failure to maintain updates is essentially the same thing, knowing most don't want to lose anything at all. I guess what they're referring to is Tesla came out last week or the week before saying all these people that have been dodging updates for whatever reason and they wanted to stay on the updates they have. And I'm sure there are a handful of people out there. They are now making it mandatory and they're giving them a countdown of some sort. You guys got any opinions on that?
I'm not sure I understand this one because I am chomping at the bit for every new update that comes out, but I've never really thought about whether or not it takes away something. I think there was
there is a reason not to update.
Yeah, I know the only one I can think of, I mean, I'm sure there's many, but the one I can think of that I know a lot of people back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like maybe a year and a half ago, complained was the nag. Just the length of the nag itself.
Okay,
it used to be longer, and now it's shorter and more frequent because people are just aren't paying attention.
Okay, so there's two I can give you that I can think off the top of my head. The first one's probably better than the second one, but the Model S 80P85, I think it was.
Yep.
They had like the crazy decrease in range.
Oh yes.
Based off
of
the
fires, right?
Fires, yeah.
The battery fire.
Yeah.
It was a response to that, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, those people are losing out, right? Substantially.
Yeah.
So I mean, they would have a reason not to do an update.
Do we agree with it though? Do we like what's our take on it? Like,
so let me get to my second one. I'll give you why I disagree with forced updates.
Okay.
So I purchased the car. The car is mine. The software on the screen is mine. I know Tesla owns it, but it's still mine because I purchased it. I own a right to it. So I should have a right to decide what version it is. And the reason why I might want to stay on a lower version is if I found an exploit that might enhance my driving ability, maybe I want to utilize that exploit to the fullest and I don't want to do an update. What if I want to run my own custom software on my screen? I mean, I know it sounds kind of absurd, but it's a possibility, right? And
Green unlocked full self-driving.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
so
think about your phone. If you're forced to have updates on your phone, what if it was like the Apple update where, it's purposely decreasing your range, so you're forced to buy a new phone, right? You're forced to buy a new car. I mean, not to pick on Apple here, but
Apple, no, I know what you're saying. No, Apple did have that problem, didn't they?
They did, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna say Tesla's gonna come out and do that, but you never know, right? I mean, you don't know. So, I don't think you should be forced for an update. It's like you bought it; you should be entitled to do what you want with it.
But you're gonna lose features. Right? Like any new features, you're not going to get them because you're not upgrading. But you're right, I guess. You get to make that choice because you purchased the car, right?
Well, and I say that I'm as soon as the updates are coming out, I'm there like, come on, where is it? Where and I'm still saying
the button.
Yeah. So me saying that, it's not like I don't want the updates. I want the updates. I swear, I think my car's broken because when I go to software, it has the advanced mode. But the advanced, I think it's just like something to shut me up. Yeah. It's fake, but and I want the updates as soon as possible. But I still think people should have the right to choose if it gets updated or not. Yeah,
that advanced button, I think. I don't know, but I don't know anyone that doesn't have that clicked. So I think if I had to guess, I'd say probably 95% of people have that clicked.
Right.
So if Tesla really wanted to do something, they should give it to the people that don't have it clicked. And see if they want to get a small little niche market of people.
I would pay to have updates first.
Don't say that.
I would pay a subscription.
Don't give it. It looks like you get updates sooner if you pay for the premium connectivity.
But that's not fair. I don't have an option for that. My car is grandfathered in.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Well, we paid for it then, right?
Yeah, you have it.
Yeah. You're grandfathered in too, aren't you, Chris?
No, I'm not. I bought mine. I actually just renewed it because it's my 1 year. I renewed it yesterday or something.
Oh, how's that?
Super easy. It's just like supercharging. Your credit card's just there. So I got an email.
Yeah.
And it said it expires. I think they emailed me 1 week early or 2 weeks early, and then I clicked take my money.
Okay.
Did you pay for a whole year, or is it like month to month?
The only option is month to month, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't pay for a full year yet. Hopefully they bring that out.
Okay. Because then I thought you might be able to pay for a year and save a little bit of money, right?
Of course, everybody thought that, but no. As of now, it's $10 a month forever. That's all you can do. Only one choice.
I don't think they even have pricing in Canada for it yet.
No, they haven't announced anything in Canada. But
we don't pay.
Well, we will pay. That's why I asked Kirk what the process is, because sooner or later, guys, the three of us with our new cars down the road, we will be paying for it. Yeah.
As we should.
Yeah. I have no issues with that.
I don't even think Tesla's trying to do it to make a profit. They're just trying to do it so they don't make a loss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing. And I've had people complain constantly on videos and stuff. It's like, why are they taking this away from us? No, they've told you all along. It's never been a secret. They've been saying it since 2004 that they want to charge people. They just haven't gone through with it. It took them 15 years, but
I remember in 2015, 2016, I went to Lawrence Toronto Tesla, and I went for a test drive of the S. And the sales guy then said, "Oh yeah, they've been telling us it's gonna go, and that's why I'm telling you that sooner or later you will have to pay for it. But we haven't seen it, and we haven't got any word that it's going anywhere. So just know that it will eventually. But right now, you get it for free." And that was over 4 years. Over 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. I exaggerated a little bit with my dates. I just mean it's been so long that they've been saying it, right?
Yeah.
It's not a secret. And I still see people like, why are you happy about this? Well, I also invest in the company, so I'm kind of happy that, they're not taking a loss anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, look at the value you get, too, because I remember my last car before Tesla, so a BMW, and they had I think it was 400 Canadian for some shit. Can I say shit? Sorry, some
yes, you can.
Some shit, service that wasn't high-speed internet. It's just basically some internet radio crap. Allowed you to use your app with the car, and it was like $400. So I think Tesla's got a lot of value in $10 a month, personally.
How many of you guys watch videos off in your car?
Like YouTube or Netflix?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
YouTube, Netflix.
Use the LTE connection.
Yeah, you're getting your money's worth. Like, I'm sitting here, I was watching hockey in my car. Well, I'm like talking to you guys, right? And it's like streaming. It's like,
who won?
Yeah.
I was watching the Blackhawks game.
Yeah, I know who won.
Oh, the Blackhawks won, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a rare moment in hockey this season, but
okay. Moving on to our next question. Now, this is from I just announced it. I've had the email set up for a few weeks now, but I kept forgetting to announce it. If you want to send a question, like I said at the beginning of the show, you didn't catch it. teslatalksquestions @gmail.com. You can email anytime. Email me a question. A guy named Dave from Ottawa was the first person. I feel like I should have something to give him for being the first person to email it using that email address. Anyways, he's a little ticked off, I think. He says, "Do you believe Tesla's dropped the ball on the auto park feature? It would impress me if they would just add like a Mad Max option or something for the parking."
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he says since having it over a year, it's still embarrassing to use the feature. But it takes such a long time, and he just finds that it's unusable. So he just wonders. What did he say? He goes, it would make me an FSD believer if they would just master the auto parking. First of all, he goes on to say that he wants to know our impressions and if we actually use.
Well, I can go first here. The only time I ever use auto park is at the old age home. So no, I don't use it. It's just too slow.
It is slow. Chris, do you use it?
I do rarely, mostly just to play with it. I used it for a parallel park job around New Year's, and it kind of blew me away. It did so perfectly, and the speed was reasonable. But any perpendicular parking, it's embarrassing. I really don't like it, and I don't like it.
I'll be the only person here that says I use it.
I use it. I use it every now and then, but I get
to hell with everybody else. I'm going in slow.
So I do use it, and that's because like I find a spot. It's like, okay, this is good, and I don't know. I'm like fiddling around, getting my glasses ready, and I'm like looking up, watching everything it's doing, and it's just, I don't know. I don't mind it. It will speed up. Again, going back to what I was saying before, they maxed out on CPU usage, so they can't speed it up any faster.
Get out of here.
Right now, it is... No, hold on a second. Hear me out. Right now, it is not using the cameras.
No?
Yeah, it's using ultrasonics.
It's using ultrasonics. So the minute they switch that over, it will speed up. But again, I think they're literally maxed out on limitations of what they can do. That's my theory.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I don't believe you.
That's fine. Listen,
no, I want to not, because
listen, when the rewrite comes out, and they actually change it over to cameras,
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I just think they could do it now. That, in my opinion, I don't know anything about software, so everyone listening should probably listen to Franklin and not me. But I think they could do it, especially because right now, if you haven't noticed, you can pull into a parking spot and you can turn autopilot on because it sees the lines.
They could do it now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say no, but they could. But you're going to ruin the Cuphead experience.
The what?
The Cuphead experience.
The Cuphead experience.
Oh, Cuphead. Don't mess with Cuphead.
No, you know what? It's one of those things. I think what Dave from Ottawa is saying is he wants it sped up because what I'm thinking, and I'm assuming that's what he's thinking, is, you know how we have Smart Summon where the car comes to us, and the next part of Smart Summon was where we park. We leave the car and it goes and finds the spot and parks. Yeah. Well, can you imagine if it went that slow? like
okay, so you want to know about Smart Summon and parking? This week I was having lunch and I was sitting down and the lot was completely empty. So it's like, okay, my car's sitting there, I can see it, there's a window. So I start Smart Summoning my car over. And I'm literally just sitting there waiting for food. I'm playing with my big RC car while I'm sitting inside. And the server comes up, she's like, wait, is that yours? I'm like, yeah, why? Everyone in the back, one person saw it and everyone's came out to see it because it's driving around with no person. So anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm trying to park the car using Smart Summon to get it into the lines.
Done that, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so, because it doesn't know.
No. So I was like literally trying to pick random spots to bring it back into the lines. Remember, I'm just sitting down waiting for food, right? So I finally get into like a spot where it's almost in the lines, like not fully, and then the place got super busy, so I have to actually go outside and move my car like mid when my food was out, just because I don't want to be an asshole taking up 2 spots, right?
Yeah,
but it was pretty fun because like the server came over, she's like, all the people in the back saw it. What's going on? How's that car driving around with no person, right? So
okay, let me ask all you guys. Speaking of Smart Summon, and this is where I want to know. I have a theory, but I want to confirm this through someone down in the States, like Chris. In the winter, now that it's cold, and you experience cold just like we do in Michigan, is Smart Summon slower for you?
100%, yeah.
Like we're talking snail speed, like as fast as it parks.
Yeah,
2 miles per hour.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, because
it's still faster than us. Yeah, we get 2 kilometers an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's true. No, because when I was down south last week in Florida, I did it a couple times from the hotel, and my wife is like, "Wow, it's going fast." I'm like, and I tried to explain to her, "Yeah, we're pretty sure we have a theory that it's temperature related and stuff like that." And I can't take credit for that. I'll give full credit where credit's due. The backseat baller Mark, he's been on our show before. He's the one that told me his theory, that he's done some research on it and stuff like that. And I guess probably because he goes out in Florida all the time, and he's the one that told me that it's weather related. And
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, so. Another thing that we can hope for summer for, so we can get our Smart Summon speed back, because it was going, like, I mean, it was going fast down in Florida. It was like a man on a mission. But the other problem, just like Franklin was saying, people noticed it. What's that?
You guys didn't get it until the winter.
Well, we got the fall, right? Yeah, it was fall. It was still. It was still fast enough.
I'm laughing. I did like a full-fledged thing every day on Twitter until the day we got it. Yeah, like, I was obsessive.
Yeah, and yours was very aggressive. We figured out yours more than some others was very aggressive.
Mine would cut off the other cars, like no problem. Wouldn't think twice. Just I'm going here. You're waiting.
Yeah, your car's an asshole.
Must be like the owner.
Well, if people only knew, Franklin.
Shh, quiet.
I know.
I think I'm nice. Let's not ruin that.
Okay, let's squeeze one more question in before we wrap this up, because we're at an hour and 40 minutes. And Chris, when Chris came on, Chris was like, "So how long you go for? About 2.5 hours?" I'm like, "No, I try to keep it to an hour." I did tell him that it never ends up being that way.
I won't stop you from doing questions. I'm into that.
Yeah. No. We'll just do one more, and then we'll wrap it from there. I wish I remembered. I just wrote it down, and I apologize to William, a guy named William Elder. I can't remember. I don't have it noted here what platform. I want to say Facebook, the Model Y group, because I have a Model Y thing right next to it. So, anyways, he asked, what is the space where the third row seats in a Model Y should be? Should it be enough room for a spare tire? I should put the question up for you guys. But
if there are third row seats?
No, he's saying, if I get his question right, is where a third row would normally be in a 5-seat configuration, would there be room? And maybe he's talking about that second well that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Would there be enough room, or do we think there'd be enough room for a spare tire, like a donut or something like that? Because as we know, Tesla doesn't give out spare tires, and you know what? Most car companies don't anymore.
New cars don't have them, yeah.
But there's some people that are very. I know in my Model 3 Canadian group, there's some adamant and heated discussions about spare tires. Some people demand it and can't believe that a car company would not give it, and they think it's very irresponsible. And then other people will go out and buy a whole kit where it comes with a spare tire and a patch kit and all. And they won't leave home without it.
Mm-hmm. I think the carpet mats are more of a big deal than the spare tire, to be perfectly honest.
It doesn't resonate with me, but I'm sure there's a segment of buyers out there that are concerned about it.
Yeah. I've been saved by my spare tire one time. He had hit a huge pothole.
Oh, so you haven't?
No. In my last car. My Ford Focus came with a spare tire under the trunk, just like it was a little tire under the mat. Yep. And I had a huge pothole, and I had never even changed. I mean, I changed a tire, but not in that situation. I pulled over and used the little jack that came with it. It saved me. I got to drive home with that. So I get it, but I agree with you guys. I don't really care all that much. But to the question, I think you could without the third row. I think you could definitely fit it. I wouldn't want to because you're taking up a lot of space. I guess if you have nothing else in there all the time, you might as well leave it in there. But you're taking up a lot of space to keep that, and you probably won't need it. And like, I get the argument, like better prepared, better to have it and not need it, and vice versa. But that's kind of what the roadside assistance is for. And in that situation, yes, it may take you. I mean, if you saw Tesla Raj's video, he got a flat and he had a new tire on his car. It was like an hour, which is amazing. But even if roadside assistance takes you 2 hours, I guess if it's an emergency or whatever, but nobody's like, your work hopefully isn't going to blame you. Like, how dare you be 2 hours late? You got a flat tire. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I'm good with roadside assistance. I haven't had to use it. But for that situation, I think that's what I would rely on. I wouldn't want to keep it with me anyway. And
don't forget, you can get the pressure sealant, right? And Tesla actually sells it on their online store.
Yep,
I have that.
Option. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for maybe 80% of situations where you would have an issue with your tire, it probably is sufficient. Mm-hmm. Unless there's a big tear in your tire or something like that. So I carry around that, and it takes up like this much space. It doesn't take up very much space at all. So that's my plan.
Yeah. Sure.
Franklin, do you know what a spare tire is?
Just around his waist.
Listen, my last whoa. My last car had one.
I'm just kidding.
I did utilize it once, but I'm with you guys. Like, I have no reason to carry one around. I actually called roadside a couple of weeks ago. Had a flat. Came out an hour later. Problem solved. Went on my merry way.
Oh, so you had the same experience?
Yeah. No big deal. I didn't document it, but same experience.
Did they repair it?
So
they give you a new one.
Because I got it through a third-party place, my Winters, though their third-party place gave me a brand new one, less than an hour. Like, literally, from the time I called Tesla to the place, I was close by to that place anyway. It's like Tesla towed me there, no questions asked, got my tire replaced, off I went. Like, no...
Amazing.
Yeah, so you didn't need it?
No, I didn't need it. And I mean, like, an hour of my time, it's like what you're saying. People are very understanding, where it's like, oh, a flat tire, like, stuff happens, right? So
right, yeah,
it's not.
I'm surprised you didn't document that, because
that would have been good.
Yeah, look at Raj's video. Raj did very well on that video he did.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah.
Raj, you need to be on my podcast. Sick and tired of asking you.
Oh.
You think he makes it this far? An hour and 46 minutes in?
Yes, I've seen him on Trevor's podcast. So he
tweeted something. He sleeps like 10 hours a night. There's no way.
Is that what he said?
What?
I don't know.
Man, I dream of 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah, he got a smart bed. This is so weird that I know this, but he tweeted it. He got some smart bed or something, and he showed the graph. And it was like,
oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It's amazing how we're talking about someone that's not even on the podcast.
Okay, so the smart bed. I want to get one.
Hook us up, Raj. Whether you're a smart bed.
With that discount code, Tesla Raj.
But hold on. It's an actual full bed that's smart, right? It doesn't make sense to me. Why couldn't they just make the sheets smart, and then you don't have to buy a whole bed?
We're not there yet. You could just get a watch, get a smartwatch.
That's yeah.
Well, then use the app.
No, I do, but like I track it to see how many hours I'm losing a night, not how many I'm gaining. But
well, buddy, I mean, I don't want to get personal with you, but the little time that you sleep, you don't need a smart bed. You'd waste that.
No, I want to see where I'm messing up in life,
Okay. Well, that brings us to another end of another episode. Thank you very much, guys, especially our special guest, Chris. I tried to, I sort of told a little fib on Twitter at the beginning of the day. I made it all sound. I put one tweet out there saying, "Oh, we have a special guest. Wait until you see who it is," and stuff like that. And then somebody's like, "Why is it a secret? Why don't you just tell us?" I'm like, "Oh, you're right. It's no secret." That's what I said. It's Chris.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and next week, if we have someone else, it won't be a secret. I'll just tell you who it is.
I hope to be back when you're live.
Yes. Yes. No, I like I said at the very beginning, guys, I'm itching to do this live. And do you guys have any issues with doing this live? Yeah.
No, not at all. I thought this one was really smooth too. Like we could have done this one live.
Yeah. No. The like I said, there's a couple things with it. Live is the time. like to get a better time
to
go live. And not that this is a bad time, but maybe a half hour before, maybe. And I want to get all the sound because I haven't really apologized yet, so maybe I should take this opportunity to quickly apologize to anyone that's been listening since episode 1 or any of the other episodes previous to this and had to endure some of the sound glitches and stuff like that in some of the previous podcasts. I apologize for that. We're working on it. And I think, tonight was, I don't want to jinx us right now. We only got a couple minutes left, but tonight was perfect. There was no toilet.
I was gonna say we got Chris on here. That's all it is.
Yes.
Chris really brought everything up, you know.
Yes. Well, he's an expert. He does this every week, right? He does it.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
His. If you guys don't watch it, definitely watch out his live streams that he does.
Oh,
they're really good.
I do it every 2 weeks just because I don't have the time to do. I want to do once a week, but I just don't have the time.
No, but they're really good. And
thank you.
Like I was telling him off air, like they're really interactive, and you get so many questions, which is great. Like that's what it.
And that's and that's the plan. That's exactly why I want to go live for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I mean, it's great that people listen to it or watch it afterwards, and still can if they want. Like I said, if you have any questions for the future podcast, hit it up in the comments below. But to do it live is just a different aspect of it that I so badly want to get started. And Chris does it great. And if anyone, I mean, I say to all the guests that come on, and you guys know, and even you guys, if you're watching this, you've obviously know or have watched Chris's Dirty Tesla channel. But if you haven't, for some strange reason, because people tell me all the time that, you know what, not everyone watches the same creators. I mean, I get it to some extent, but I just think my channel is so tiny and so small, often tucked away in a corner right here, that obviously I'm trying to get it bigger and more exposure. But someone that doesn't know about Chris's, you got to be under a rock. You got to check out Chris. Other than your YouTube channel, where else can people find you?
On Twitter, Instagram. Like if you want to DM me, seriously, I have a Patreon, but like you don't have to sign up. People ask for it, so I made it. But if you have questions for me, you can literally message me on my Twitter DMs might be turned off right now, but Instagram's open. Private message me there, or Reddit. My username is Dirty Tesla on Reddit. Just private message me. I will have full conversations with you. I don't care. I talk with people for days. I have these full threads because they just have so many questions, and I don't mind. Like I'll message you as I get time, and I'll answer anything I can. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's, you know what, that's why you're doing good and you're successful. You take the time, and that's what matters. Not to say any of us here don't do that, but of course, that's what the whole thing is all about, right?
YouTube comments too. If you comment on any of my videos, top comments are good at notifications on my phone, and I'll always answer those. Sometimes replies YouTube doesn't send through. I don't know.
No, they don't.
It's true. It's true. Sometimes they get lost.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you guys about that, because I know, Chris, you do an excellent job replying to your comments, as do Paul and Dax. And the replies, like, I feel so bad because, like, some of the replies I never see, and I have to like manually go through it, and it's like, oops, I totally missed this. Like 3 weeks later, it's like, I want to reply to it, but it makes me look so bad, and it's not my fault. Like
it's hard. It's hard. I know. It's nobody's fault. Don't feel bad, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I do. It's just how I am.
Paul, Mr. Tesla Canuck, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Once again, where can everyone find you?
So youtube.com/Tesla Canuck, and then basically Tesla Canuck on any social media. I'm on all of them.
That's awesome that you're uniformed like that, just like Chris. Me, on the other hand, I'm all over the place. Mr. Franklin, where
you can find me, Mother Frunker, on every platform.
Yes.
Standardized. And in my car. That's where I found most often.
In your car, like you are right now.
Yeah.
I thought you were going by Frunker now.
Nah, I just did it on Twitter because I was like really obsessed with the Cybertruck. And I still kind of am, but...
Okay, and folks, like I said, I keep beating it like a dead horse, or to a dead horse, whatever the saying is. But if you want to get hold of us and you want a question, or you have a question, or you want to make a comment and you want us to give some input, easiest way right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, is just write it in the comments down below, hit us up, and we'll get in touch with you. or on any of the social media platforms that any of these guys mentioned. It doesn't have to be this podcast. It could be Chris's podcast. Or, like I said, if it's particularly for this podcast, teslatalksquestions@gmail.com. I'll put that email address down in the description below. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Guys, thanks very much for helping me do this. We are at 1:54, and we're ending this right now. Talk to you later, guys. Take care.
All right. Thank you.